Hello there, Dan the Weatherman here. Hey, welcome to my weather show. This is the global edition, taking a look at things across the globe and what's going to happen over the course of this week. It's quite a big week with the equinox, equal day, equal night, and this is when we start to really see the oomph in the atmosphere come out. And first off, you've got the warmth, you've got the cold, and with the equinox, we're all sitting at equal day, equal night, then things start to change, but they shift around. And an interesting thing this week in the northern hemisphere, there's been quite a good push in the jet stream across the North Atlantic, straight up into northern Europe, a big push of energy, big surge and upper ridge, and that has been pushing through, good surge of warmth, but it has gone so far up into the atmosphere that it's actually affected what is the big lump of cold air. The big lump of cold air that sits across the North Pole through what is the winter, the Polar Vortex. That, with a surge of warmth coming in it, and think of this as like a big lump of jelly, that is literally going to start to fade. And if you want to know more about the Polar Vortex, do check out my video explaining it in a bit more detail. But look at this, big lump of cold, and then all of a sudden that surge of warmth through the week, it really changes. But it's not completely done. Still, where there are these surges of cold, that meeting the warmth, that will of course give rise to some active weather. But a big change there. And of course with the warmth, look at the temperatures with some great spring warmth across parts of Europe. We could easily be seeing 20 degrees for the first time to the British Isles, over parts of France. Look at all the green being replaced by the yellow and the orange. And not just here, it could even be to Germany, Poland, and even spots east. You could be easily well into double figures as the big upper ridge builds and the mountain warm air just sits in place. And the same piece of energy, the same buckle in the jet stream there, of course, weather moves around the globe, it changes as it does, but a lot of times pieces of energy move around, and that particular piece of energy, if we follow it about a week to 10 days time, surging around, some of it crossing with a bit of cross-polar flow, then it comes across, meets more warm water, and boom, look at this surge here. When you get a contrast of warm and cold, it just creates that oomph, and that of course will be a very strong, powerful jet stream, and it will start creating these bends, these ripples or surges of instability, spreading into the US, and of course the US going into spring. This of course is spring storm season, tornadoes, and these bends here could be significant creators or causes of some significant weather as they churn through. One in this week and two more later in the month and even into early April. I'll bring it up close and show you what I mean. That's the first system there, going away. Snow where the blue line is, that's the snow line on the top edge. That will go away. Look at this, warm flow ahead of it, and where you see green and yellow, those could be severe thunderstorms, maybe the risk of some tornadoes. Still snow on the top edge of that system, about Tuesday, Wednesday, that will go away. Then a bit of a quieter spell, and remember there's two more surges to come through later in the month here, and then another one in April. They'll come through, good surge of warmth and moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and then more. There is for severe weather and potentially tornadoes, as April of course is the peak for storm season in the US. To the southern hemisphere, different story of course. Coming to the end of summer, you've had lots of warmth, but as we start going into what is the change, think of the Antarctic continent a bit like a hornet's nest, just sitting quiet, but when you start poking it with warm air, it then sends out surges of cold, and that's what we're going to start seeing this week. Coming to life, notice the blue and the areas of green, the colder air just spreading out, fanning their way through over parts of Chile and Argentina, and particularly New Zealand and Australia. Those will churn through, and where the cold meets the warmth, that will create more oomph in the weather system, deep lows and wind. And that'll be the typical thing as we run through the course of the change in season, more active weather here and across parts of the globe. That's the weather for now.